The pool of talent in the NBA seems to be at an all-time high. Every year, at least 5 up-and-coming players take the leap towards stardom, joining the already bountiful list of all-star and superstar players at the very top of the totem pole. Last year, guys like Julius Randle, Jeremy Grant, Christian Wood, and Jaylen Brown all made leaps that put them in consideration for the NBA's Most Improved Player award, with Randle beating out the competition in a landslide. Next season, another batch of young budding talents will join the ranks. So, who will it be? We're trying to predict the Most Improved Player award. We can start by looking out for players who will not only improve, but boost their stats in a meaningful way. For example, last year's winner, Knicks All-Star Randle, went from averaging 19.5 points per game, 9 rebounds and 3 assists on 46% shooting in the 2019-2020 season, to 24 points, 10 rebounds, and a career-high 6 assists per game on 45% shooting, while also shooting 40% from behind the three-point line for the first time in his career. Typically, the award is biased towards offensive production, which is why Brandon Ingram had the advantage over Bam Adebayo for the 2020 award. But to boost those stats, the player also needs an opportunity for an expanded offensive role. That opportunity can come about because of injury, trade, or just another open roster spot. That was the case for Pistons forward Jeremy Grant and Rockets big man Christian Wood, who saw their usage rates go from 17% to 28% and 20% to 25% respectively. And the final predictor to consider is what year of the player's career they're entering. 8 of the last 10 Most Improved winners have either been in the 3rd or 4th year of their careers, and the average year of all 10 winners is 4.6. And that's not just a coincidence. Between years 3 and 5 is when players are usually fully adjusted to their roles in the NBA, their circumstances, and situations on any given team. With those requirements in mind, let's take a look at our top 5 candidates. Michael Porter Jr., who was one of the top high school recruits heading into the 2018 draft, fell all the way down to 14, where the Nuggets took a risk on the injury-riddled prospect. That bet has definitely paid off, because Porter Jr. is looking like the perfect third star to add alongside MVP Nikola Jokic and point guard Jamal Murray, who's expected to miss a good portion of next season, recovering from an ACL tear. And that's why MPJ is the betting favorite in some people's books to win Most Improved next season. With no Murray, Porter Jr. will be given the green light on offense. Without Murray, MPJ went from averaging 19 points a night to 23.5. He also went from being a 45% shooter from behind the arc to a 48% shooter through 17 games without the Nuggets point guard. For his position, he ranked in the 92nd percentile in three-point percentage, 89th percentile for mid-range, and 95th percentile at the rim.
On the wing, Porter taking it home, and he'll hammer it home!
He is offensive dynamite, and while there will still absolutely be defensive concerns with him, MPJ fits all the markers needed to project him as the Most Improved candidate and a future star in this league. Raptors forward OG Anunoby projects to be in a similar situation. As a member of the 2017 draft, Anunoby slipped all the way to pick number 20 because of injury concerns.
That sounds kind of familiar.
And with the departure of Kyle Lowry this offseason, the Raptors will have to look for extra offense from somewhere else, so why not Anunoby?
Toronto, about 2,000 kilometers away. OG to the rim with a slam.
The 6'8", 232-pound Anunoby is already one of the best defenders in the NBA, utilizing his combination of size and athleticism to stop wing players dead in their tracks. Anunoby has improved both efficiency-wise and points per game-wise every season. He's increased his shot attempts per game, which shows he's gained confidence on that end, and he's expanded his offensive repertoire every season as well, going from a strictly catch-and-shoot player to beating guys off the dribble and being able to create his own shots. Post All-Star break last season, through 20 games, Anunoby averaged 18 points on 48, 40, 80 shooting splits, along with 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block per game. That was on only 14 shots per game, and with no Lowry and Pascal Siakam expected to miss at least the start of the season for the Raptors, recovering from shoulder surgery, the offense will be running through Anunoby and Fred VanVleet. Like Anunoby and MPJ, Grizzlies stretch forward Jaren Jackson Jr. is primed for a breakout season as well. Triple J only played 11 games last season after spending time recovering from an ACL tear, so health will be the most important factor to him improving next season. But in his last full season, Jackson was one of the best shooting big men in the league, ranking in the 87th percentile from behind the arc and shooting it at a 40% clip.
Franchise record is 21 threes in a game for the Grizzlies. He'll try again. You've got to be kidding me. From Jaren Jackson Jr. here in his third. Listen, I'm not going to the basket. Take a step back. I don't matter if you're a 7-footer. Off the glass. I heard him call glass. I heard him call it. Hand down, man down.
Jackson combines his shooting with being a highly effective roll man and post scorer, which bodes well when you pair him with Ja Morant in pick and roll situations. The case for Jackson is that Jonas Valanciunas is no longer a Grizzly. Valanciunas carried a lot of the offensive load for Memphis over the last 2 seasons, and now someone will have to step in, making Jackson's offensive game the perfect substitute. Maybe the departure of Valanciunas indicates that we'll see more Grizzlies lineups with Jackson at center, and while that might not bode well defensively, he should absolutely feast and put up offensive numbers to put him in contention for the award. MPJ, Triple J, and Anunoby are 3 forwards who are poised to take a leap next season. But what about the guards? Kevin Porter Jr. is one guard who showed signs of playing above his pay grade last season. You'll remember him for dropping 50 points and dishing out 10 assists against the champion Milwaukee Bucks in the regular season, becoming the youngest player ever to do so. And then following it up by poking fun at one of the best defenders in the NBA in Drew Holiday.
You see Drew?
Yes, sir, Skate.
Sliding his ass all around the fucking
Porter Jr. was traded from the Cavs to the Rockets midway through the season after an altercation with teammate Taurean Prince and was immediately sent to the G League bubble. In the bubble, KPJ led the league in points per game and was called right back up by the Rockets. In head coach Stephen Silas' system, Porter Jr. averaged 21, 4, and 7 in his last 5 games on 44, 38, 70 shooting splits, and apparently, Silas wants him to play point guard next season beside number 2 overall pick Jalen Green. On top of his potency as a scorer, Porter Jr. has shown some flashes as a playmaker, and if he can capitalize on the opportunity he's been given to run point for the Rockets, there's no doubt he'll at least be a candidate. And finally, Darius Garland. Following an underwhelming rookie campaign, year 2 saw him excel as a primary playmaker and scorer.
Garland somehow got it over Rudy Gay. Wow, what an effort.
He averaged a career high in points and assists at 17 and 6, and combined with backcourt partner Colin Sexton to make a dynamic offensive duo called Sexland. What really helped Garland last season was his much improved 3-point shot, shooting just under 40% from behind the arc, after shooting under 35% in his rookie season. Garland is probably the Cavaliers' best shooter, and hopefully he can capitalize on that next season. Plus, number 3 overall pick Evan Mobley should prove to be a more than capable partner in pick and roll situations for Garland's assist numbers to skyrocket. Essentially, there's more tools on the Cavaliers roster for Garland's game to blossom next season. And it's not just these 5 guys. Players like RJ Barrett, Sexton, and Mikal Bridges all have shots at the award. Meanwhile, 2 guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Zion Williamson, who probably took their biggest leaps last season, may end up getting a redemption run at it this season. And whoever wins the award is likely set up for long-term success. 8 of the last 10 most improved winners have gone on to become all-stars, and 1 ended up being a 2-time MVP, 1-time Defensive Player of the Year, and an NBA champion. Whether it's MPJ, Anunoby, Triple J, KPJ, or Garland, or someone else, one of these guys is going to join an ever-growing list of players who have gone on to become superstars in this league. So, which one do you think it'll be? Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button.